Thanks for joining me again for another Pixie Talks review vlog.
Pixie Talks, reviews and vlogs at Pixie Talks. Pixie Talks, reviews and vlogs at Pixie Talks.
Woo! So, something pretty monumental happened in internet culture this week. That's right, Hiveswap was released. It's a pretty big deal since people have been waiting for this game for years now. Of course, we can't talk about Hiveswap without first discussing Homestuck for a little, so let's jump right into this, shall we? Okay, so as I'm sure you are probably aware, Homestuck is a webcomic about 4 human kids and a group of troll aliens. And it ran for 7 years from 2009 to 2016. Now, I say webcomic, but it's really more of a multimedia storytelling experience. Its narrative spans art, mini-games, animated sequences, music, and written dialogue. It's kind of hard to describe exactly what Homestuck is, so it's kind of just easiest to call it a webcomic, even though that might not be strictly accurate. Now, Homestuck was incredibly popular during its run, so much so that it kind of has shaped the entire culture of the internet in a lot of ways, which makes it kind of hard to admit, but I actually didn't read it during its run. I did read it more recently at the behest of a friend, although I didn't get all the way through it yet. It is massive, you guys. But I did miss out on the hype of its heyday. Here's the thing about Homestuck. A lot of people will tell you that it's bad or cringy solely because the fandom kind of got this reputation for being incredibly annoying about their obsession over it. Boy, that doesn't sound familiar at all. Thing is, Homestuck is quite honestly one of the most incredible, creative, and well-crafted narratives I have ever experienced. Add that to its uniquely immersive storytelling style, and it's one of the most impressive feats in fiction ever. I'm not going to review it completely here because that would take a long time, but if you haven't read it, take the plunge. It's a bit slow to start, but it is well worth it. I describe it as Jumanji, if Jumanji were a 90s nostalgia internet comedy that turned into hard sci-fi time travel drama. So that brings us to Hiveswap. Hiveswap is the official Homestuck video game, and it was crowdfunded on Kickstarter. Unfortunately, due to some horrible fiascos during its making, it ended up being years late in the release. So people have been incredibly excited that it has finally been produced. So let's take a look at it. You play at first as a young girl named Joey. The character introductions read very similarly to the Homestuck comic itself, introducing the characters' names and interests in the second person. Homestuck was a point-and-click adventure game parody, so it's appropriate that the game is, in fact, a point-and-click adventure. Your house is being attacked by strange monsters. You run around for a little bit communicating with your little brother via walkie-talkie, gathering different items around your house in order to use them to progress through the game. I know I've talked about it before, but I love point-and-click adventure games. They're just a lot of fun and tend to be a very immersive style of gameplay storytelling. The game has 4 new characters, 3 of which you meet and get to play as during the course of the story. They're all wonderful characters who I would love to learn more about. Zaphros is especially adorable. The artwork is all gorgeous as well, with beautifully rendered backgrounds and stunningly smooth animation. The scoring is also breathtaking. It is altogether a beautiful artistic experience. Now, the downsides. People have criticized the puzzles for not being all that hard, and yeah, I would agree with that. It's not very difficult to piece together what items you're going to need for what, which makes it feel more like you're watching a story than playing a game. There are a few mini-games as well that unfortunately feel a bit more clunky than challenging. My biggest complaint, though, would be how, well, short it is. It honestly feels more like a preview demo than a full, complete game, since it takes about 3 hours to complete and it ends right as the actual story starts getting underway. I do understand, though, that this is a first ever game by a brand new indie company, so the ease of the puzzles doesn't concern me as much as the short span of the game. I would have liked them to give a bit more story than they did. This is, of course, only part 1 in Homestuck tradition, so there is more to look forward to. I have optimistic expectations of where they will go from here. And if it's anything like Homestuck, the parts might get progressively longer as it goes. The story is set in the Homestuck mythos, but has no real connection to the Homestuck story, except for tangentially, so you don't need to have read the Homestuck comic in order to understand the Hiveswap narrative. I would recommend checking it out. It is on Steam, and it's a really cute game that, if nothing else, gets the player easily invested in its characters. Considering the hurdles that the development team had to go through to make this at all, I think they did a great job, and I'm very much looking forward to more. And that's it for my review of the Hiveswap game. Hope you enjoyed the video, and please do be sure to subscribe for more. I will see you guys next time. Bye!